My initial thought was, what? Is that a thing? That's a thing? But honestly, it's brilliant. It really is.
My first thought was, what is that, for one thing? And then when I heard what it was, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So.
I thought the idea of reverse giving was just something that we'd never heard of. We'd never been involved in a church that had ever done anything like that. So for me, it was just a really neat concept.
I mean, my first thought on the reverse giving was I didn't quite believe it, what they were doing. And, you know, the first couple of years, I think it was a little bit less money, but at first I thought it'd be, you know, $5 or something like that. Then to see the amounts they started giving out, I was like, oh, okay, this is something serious on, you know, the staff's heart.
We wanted to be a part of this because, honestly, Michaela and her husband Connor reached out to us and said they knew someone in need, and they said, would you want to go in together and make a substantial gift? And we said, of course, yeah.
I don't think it was an accident in the timing of this, but like the week before we listened to this sermon, I had heard the story of this family who was struggling to pay rent. They were facing eviction, and then we heard this sermon, and it was like perfect timing to act.
My thought too was, how am I going to know when it's the right person to give it to?
I wanted to be part of the reverse giving just to see if you could reach that one person to get them to come to church.
And I think we both have struggled, and sometimes just that little bit of boost, a little bit of help makes a complete difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that day I drove around Huntington, kept driving around. I thought, I gotta give this to somebody. So I was going along, I seen a young lady, just had gotten groceries. Seemed like she was struggling a little bit. And I got up to her. She had already been in the building. And I did get up to her, and I talked to her. I said, I'd like to play, Santa Claus for the day or whatever, and we have some money. I'd like to help you out. And then her first reaction is like, so what's the catch? And then we continued to talk and go from there.
So we kind of had talked about it, and then it didn't really go anywhere. And I think Connor talked to Zach, and Zach is the action man. Zach and Gina are the action behind our idea. And so then it was like, we know of this family. We can't really give the money to them, but could you go in with us? And two, could you be our in-between to kind of get this to happen? And they were all for it.
So we made Zach the delivery man. So we pulled up Christmas Eve. Zach walked to the door. He told her Merry Christmas. She opened the door. He told her Merry Christmas. He handed her the gift. We put the money in an envelope in a Life Church cup with the pamphlet. So he handed her the cup. He told her, hey, there are people praying for you. We want you to know that. And we'd love for you to come down to Life Church. And we want you to have this gift. And she just, shut the door. And that was it.
Yeah, it was strange because she never knew me and I didn't know her, and invited her to church. She said she'd been in numerous churches in Huntington and nobody really knew she was there, paid attention to her. And she grew up Buddha. And I'm like, wow. So I started reading on that and everything, but she did come to church. Probably 3 or 4 times. Actually, she sat with Shelly and I in church there for a couple times, and that was pretty neat.
We had one of the guys at work, you could tell when you walk up to him, he'd just been beaten down. He'd just been beaten. And one day after work, I walked up to him like, hey, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And that's when he talked about, he goes, his mom's really been on his case. He's 31 years old, but he didn't have a good relationship with his mom when he was growing up, didn't live with her, but she's really been putting a lot of pressure on him lately because she knew that he'd been contemplating suicide. So I'm like, well, what's it gonna take? What do you need? He's like, I have no breath, nowhere to breathe. They said every dollar I have is accounted for. I can't. So we helped him out a little bit and get some stuff going, and he came to me the next day or the week after that at work and said, last night was the first night that I actually slept in a long time and felt like I could breathe.
I'm looking forward to the reverse giving just because where I work now, I'm probably exposed to more people who I see have a need. So I'm excited about it this year, and hope we can put a little more thought and add to the money and make an impact for that person. And
Really, at the end of the day, like, God got the glory for that, and that was the point. And I prayed about it that day, that she saw Jesus that day from a gift from a complete stranger.